Good morning and welcome back. Now on today's agenda we're going to have Ian finishing off the last little bits and pieces on the multicolored S13. Now we are pretty much on the final furlough for this one. It's just a case of fitting some new clocks that we went and got yesterday, getting those things fitted, getting the temperature gauge running properly and taking it out for a test drive. So fingers crossed we should get this thing done and dusted for today and get them all buttoned up. So we are out here in the glorious sunshine of my JDM graveyard. You have Ian, in there playing with the dash. And here's me out here playing with this because I am not happy with how the washer bottle sits. I mean, this bolt here is just slightly too thick and it's making the washer bottle just want to hang off of it. See, it doesn't quite fit nicely, so I'm going to change that for hopefully a thinner bolt that I can find somewhere and make this fit how I would want it to fit. Anyway, there we go, that's that off. Doing all right there?
So far so good. A couple more fix-ins and the clocks will be out.
Excellent. Start testing some wiring for the heater. Temperature gauge, that's the word I was looking for. Jesus Christ.
It's Friday, mate. It's Friday.
It is Friday, I need a coffee. What's better than having one mechanic upside down in a car? Having two. And me is going to be up in there doing some wiring checks and bits and pieces. So time to test the internal loom on this to make sure everything is linked from there to the gauge to make sure everything's fine, because this is old Japanese stuff and we all know how the Japanese love to do their wiring. It's a true story. Okay, testing time. Time to feed a little bit of earth into here on the internal loom and go over to the gauge. Pass you over to Ian. There you go, mate.
Right on.
Ian cam. Right.
Ian cam.
Let's put the ignition on.
Ignition is on, my friend.
Earth this.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now we know the wiring is okay for the internal side of things, so that's all fine on that side. We know the gauge works. Shouldn't be much more left to test on this. Okay, now it's the test of let this thing get up to temperature and hopefully it's going to behave how it's supposed to. Time will tell. Fast forward to the next day and change of plans. Instead of working on the S13 that we had out here, we're now actually going to have Ian doing the rear tubs, getting this thing ready to rock and roll on this one instead, because well, we need to make progress on this. So rip all the interior out in as nicest way possible to make sure everything doesn't get broken and all the clips stay nice. Get the rear over fenders off and get the tubs started on this thing today, which is going to be nice for you, mate, isn't it? It's not as if it's hot.
Yeah, look forward to it. Yay.
Sweaty day. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on getting the coilovers sorted on the front of this thing and get the rear front of the arches all cleaned up and ready to get some paint on them as well. So, Ian smashed it. Interior is now all out, ready to rock and roll. So let's get these over fenders off, start marking these things up, get it cut and grind them. As you've seen, one little fight later and the cracked dash is out of here. See, I've had many S13s, I've never had one with a cracked dash, completely random. Yet everyone says they all come with cracked dashes. First one I've ever seen. And here we have the nice new one. Say nice new one, it's been on the shelf for a while. But yeah, nice fresh dash, no cracks, absolutely immaculate, ready to go back into our, well, what's going to be a showstopper. So carry on doing some bits and pieces in there that Ian's finishing off now. I've got to carry on doing a continuity check on this thing, and yeah, we'll get the dash back in. And the final bit. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Look at that, no more cracked dash. How good does that look? Immaculate S13 dash.
Rare.
Good luck finding one of those nowadays, eh?
Rare.
Excellent, that's another thing ticked off the list. Okay, so whilst we've been doing those bits and pieces, I've been getting on doing the continuity check on the S13, and I've come to the conclusion that we have a faulty sensor, which is very unusual to the fact that I used the same sensor that was in the Skyline behind me, and the gauge worked absolutely fine on that one, but for some reason, putting it in this, it doesn't want to know. It should be the same, it's a single pin resistance type sensor part on it, so I don't know why it's decided it doesn't want to work on this one, but order the new sensor, get it plugged in there, and we should be absolutely golden. And welcome back to another episode of Ian's legs underneath the S13. Today we are going to be taking out the subframe from this thing. Yay! So let's get things on some nice axle stands, because these ones wobble a little bit too much. We'll get them on nice axle stands, get the subframe dropped out of this, and then we're going to be under sealing and protecting the entire car. So Ian's going to really love this one today. It's going to be a nice messy one, mate. Yay. Don't we always love the messy ones?
I love it.
But this is the stage that we are at currently. Various bits and pieces are out of here. Ian loves it. So, progress for the day. Get this subframe out, start knotting down this the chassis, and start getting it undersealed.
Yeah.
Fun times, messy day. And after all this time, Ian has been smashing it, and we are now pretty much ready, I do believe, mate, to take the subframe out, aren't we?
Yeah, literally, it's held on the trolley jack at the moment, so.
Excellent. So, in other words, put the camera down and give you a hand.
Yes, please, sir.
Right, I'll set the time lapse up. And it's just like that, we have the diff, subframe, arms, everything on the floor. How was that for you, Ian? Did you enjoy it?
Beautiful.
It wasn't too bad at all, really. In the grand scheme of things, they come out pretty simple when it's actually in really nice condition like this. All the bolts came undone nicely, didn't they? Nothing snapped.
No, really good condition, that subframe.
Bonus. The only problem is it's got the high cast on it. Look at that. Who's ever seen an S13 with high cast on like that?
Rubbish.
It is. It needs to go in the bin, but it's just crying shame, really, because like I say, the subframe is actually in really good condition. Anyway, new subframe on the way, which has got poly bushes in, it's been strengthened, it's been braced. We'll strip it, powder coat it, put it back in, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Also, you get all these nuts and bolts and fittings and washers and everything all anodized, or not anodized, zinc coated. So I need to find somewhere that does zinc coating. So if you know anybody in Chippenham area or Bristol area that does zinc coating, please get in contact, let us know. Excellent. Now the final part. Let's change this rear spat and we're good to go. I think that will actually be the last part of this now, isn't it? Change the spat, change the light on the indicator, on the dash, which we just realised isn't working. And typical, isn't it? Always when you think you're just about done, you're not just about done. Anyway, simple little things. To knock us out of the park, have a beer. The final part of any car that's about to leave. Make sure it's nice and clean. Good job, buddy. And it's on that note that I think we're going to leave it there. We have had enough for one day, Friday. Beer time, home time, sorted. Thank you very much for today, Ian.
No worries,
gentlemen. See you again next time.
Yeah, yeah.